नमो नमस्ते गुरवे महात्मने विमुक्तसंगाय सदुत्तमाय नित्याद्वयानन्दरसस्वरूपिणे भूम्ने सदा पारदयाम्बुधाम्ने नमस्ते नमस्ते विभो विश्वमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते चिदानन्दमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते तपोयोगगम्य नमस्ते नमस्ते श्रुतिज्ञानगम्य स्वाराज्य साम्राज्य विभूतिरेषा भवत्कृपा श्रीमहिमप्रसादात् प्राप्ता मया श्रीगुरवे महात्मने नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमस्तस्मै सदैकस्मै कस्मै चिन्महसे नमः यदेतद्विश्वरूपेण राजते गुरुराजन्ते यदेतद्विश्वरूपेण राजते गुरुराजन्ते. Shri, in Bhagavad Gita also it is said that in Adhyatmic sadhana, in spiritual sadhana, there are two kinds leading us to the ultimate same goal. One is Kevala Jnana Nishtha. Kevala Jnana Nishtha. Exclusive dedication to knowledge or exclusive knowledge pursuit. The other one is what Bhagavad Gita is suggesting is, in Bhagavad Gita it is defined as Buddhi Yoga. It is called Karma Yoga also in a more general sense, but truly speaking what Bhagavad Gita is advising is called Buddhi Yoga. Because Karma Yoga is not doing karma as people interpret it. Just doing karma is not yoga. Yoga becomes because of the mental attitude with which we do the karma. That is, generally this Kevala Jnana Nishtha is the Upanishadic sadhana. And it was restricted, only very few people are fit for this. Why? Because generally people will have some desire for Katribhava, Bhoktribhava. If the mind is very pure, they don't have the usual worldly desires at all. They will be fit for pursuing, like Nachiketa, as in Kathopanishad, Nachiketa's example is that other day also I was telling. Such people will be able to pursue the Kevala Jnana Nishtha. Because it means what is Kevala Jnana Nishtha? It is Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Shravana means listening to the truth. It need not be always listening, it can be reading also, Shastras. From there, that is, you are having the knowledge from some other source, not your direct perception. Shravana means either you read or you listen to somebody, you are getting the truth, you are listening to the truth from somebody else. But truly speaking, when we go deeper into it, it is said that Guru Mukhat Shravana. That means you have to listen to a person who has realized the truth. Or your Guru, whatever. The Guru is supposed to be realized that way. So after you have listened to the truth well, naturally your buddhi will not accept. You will say that I am seeing everybody is different, the whole world is fragmented, everything is different. Without that, nothing can be done. How it is saying that everything is one? What is the meaning of this unity and diversity? I don't find any unity anywhere. Is it not? So our buddhi will go on questioning the Shastras as well as the Guru, whatever they are saying. So the Shastras are encouraging that inquiry. We don't call it questioning, we call it inquiring. With the buddhi we have to inquire, and this is called manana. Manana means whatever you have listened to, shravana ho gaya, jo shravana hua hai, whatever you have listened to, pondering over it, analyzing it, doing vichara on it. Vichara is very important. Vichara means employing your buddhi, you analyze it. The manana should be taken to such a level that your mind will become absolutely free of all doubts. This is very important. Till then, buddhi has to function. As in Kathopanishad it is said, very common mantra, Uttishtata Jagrata Prapya Varan Nibodhata Shurasya Dhara Nishita Duratyaya Durgam Padhastat Kavayo Vadanti. All of you must have heard it, it's very common. He says, Uttishtata Jagrata Prapya Varan Nibodhata. That you get up, arise, awake, get awakened to the truth. What is the truth? Because throughout the day, throughout our life, we are interacting with the objects. Small things, small raga, dvesha, likes, dislikes, etc. We are not awakened to the truth which we are really, which is the substratum of the entire universe. That such a truth is there, you awaken to the truth that is there. But to realize the truth fully as your own discovery, what is the difference between just knowing and realizing? Knowing means you have known from Shastras, you have known from the Guru, or wherever. It is a second-hand knowledge. Now, realization means when you have done your sadhana so much so that the knowledge become your own, so that you feel that I would have also said it, not only the rishis. Before that it is, rishis have said this, Shastras have said this, my Guru told me this. Till it becomes my own discovery, direct discovery, it is not a full realization. It goes on, but the full realization means we will be absolutely certain that yes, I would have also said this. The knowledge becomes our own. So he says, Uttishtata Jagrata Prapya Varan Nibodhata. Nibodhata means Nisheshena Bodhata. That means you look for, after you have awakened to the truth, you have not yet realized. You have known from the Shastras or from whatever you have listened to. Look for a Vara means Shrestha. Look for our Sadguru who has realized the truth, who can show you the path. Prapya Varan Nibodhata, and be with him, be in his company till you become free of all doubts. This is very important. Nibodhata means you realize it up to the end when there is no doubt is remaining. Nisheshena Bodhata. In Mundakopanishad, in another manner, it is said that Vidyate Hridaya Granthi Chidyante Sarva Samshayaha Kshiyante Chasya Karmani Tasmin Drishte Paravare. When we see the truth in the great as well as the small, you cannot say that great as well as the small means there is nothing other than the truth. The whole universe is appearing on Atma or consciousness. There is nothing other than that. Everything is a formation of that, is an impression on that. So when we realize that, we realize the truth in everything. Before that, if you do meditation and you have Atma Sakshatkara by whatever manner, you go again and again in meditation to realize that, to know about that, to get in touch with the Atma. That means in non-meditative state you are not finding the truth. As long as to find the truth you have to meditate or go into samadhi, that means non-samadhi period you are missing the truth. This is the greatness of the Upanishad. Upanishads clearly tells us that you have to, here it is, Vidyate hridaya granthi chidyante sarva samshaya kshiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare. Now I have said only the last portion. Tasmin drishte, seeing the truth, finding the truth in para as well as avara, in the great as well as small, in something very deep as well as subtle as well as gross. Everywhere, you cannot miss it anywhere at all. Because it is your own eye. Whatever you know, without the eye can you know anything? Even in dream also. You have gone, in the dream you have gone to the moon. But unless your eye is present there, will you know anything? Everywhere, with eye is the base of all our experiences. Without that, nothing can be done. Eye is there everywhere. Even when you are unconscious, getting up, you say, I was unconscious. So in the no signal state also the eye. So that Kenopanishad even clearly says that Pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hi vindate atmana vindate viriyam vidyaya vindate amritam. Pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hi vindate. When you become immortal, you don't become immortal, you realize that your real identity is immortal. Immortal, what can be immortal? In the whole creation there is nothing immortal. Everything is following cause and effect chain, is it not? It is undergoing change. Any changeful thing cannot be immortal. Birth, change, death. So immortality is only our own identity, the consciousness. He says that to know that immortality of our own identity, of our that we are immortal, it is repeatedly there in Shvetashvatara. I always quote that Shrinvantu Vishve Amritasya Putraha Aye Dhamani Divyani Tastu Vedahamedam Purusham Mahantam Aditya Bannam Tamasah Parastat Tam Eva Viditva Atimrityumeti. You can cross over death by knowing that Mahan Purusha. That Mahan Purusha is the consciousness. Nanya Pantha Vidyate Ayana. He is giving us the call, the Shrinvantu Vishve Amritasya Putraha. He is not saying that I have become immortal. You are all mortal. He is saying all of you are immortal because you are all children of immortality. But you don't know that you are immortal because you are identifying with the mortal body, mortal mind, mortal buddhi. So you are living in mortality. You come up from that, arise, awake, and know your immortal identity. You are immortal, but you don't know, so you are suffering. Now in Kenopanishad he says, Pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hi vindate. When a person attains amritatvam or immortality, when he comes to know the truth, pratibodha viditam, in every perception he knows the truth. Now I already said that the perception means the I is there. Only you know that I as a small I belonging to my own body, mind, personality. It is different from all others, I. So that I has to undergo a change, that's all. Otherwise I is already there in all experience. Pratibodha, actually I is there. Without that no bodha can be there. But we are not knowing the truth in Pratibodha. We are thinking that I am seeing the microphone, I am fighting with that person, I have lost my temper, I am under dukkha, I am very happy today. This is our I, small I, which is always undergoing changes. So they are clearly showing that the truth has to be known in all perception all the time, not only in meditation. So paravare also means that you know in the samadhi state, the great state of nirvikalpa samadhi, as well as when you are interactive in the world also. You cannot say that I don't find spirituality is only when I am meditating. The other time it is not there. You have to understand and realize the Atma in all interactions, everything. There is nothing other than the whole world is as if written, drawn on the Atma. It is made of Atma. That Atma is not a matter of, not a objective item. It is subjective. Atma cannot be known as an object. It can only be known as the amness in us. Not even amness. He says that awake, arise, and then go to a Sadguru to realize this truth that there is Atma alone in which the whole universe is appearing to be. So Shravana, I have listened to this truth. Manana, I have thought about this truth in various ways, and finally we find that it is very rationally presented. This appears to be the ultimate truth. Even science also tries to go to that in the unified field theory, but it was excluding the subject, so it was not able to reach. And even if you reach, it is because it is subjective, you cannot express in the manner science expresses the other objective truth. There should be a drastic difference. It cannot be expressed like that, whatever it is. Now, when you become doubtless, then comes the nididhyasana. Nididhyasana is defined as eka tattva ghanabhyasa. Why don't you remember these terms? They are very good. Eka tattva. Eka means one. Tattva means truth. Ghana means there is no break. Abhyasa, that means practice of the one truth in an unbroken manner. Normally you are now thinking of the truth, and in between also, in between the lecture also you are thinking of the office, thinking of the food, thinking of the family and all that. So it is a broken thought about the truth. As long as we are doing manana, it is like pouring water. The water droplets will 1, 2, 3 like that. So our thought about the truth also is getting broken. But Eka Tattva Ghanabhyasa means it is Tailadharavat. To explain to us properly in a practical manner, it is called Tailadharavat. When you pour oil, it doesn't get split into, just simply flows in one stream. So the thought process of the mind or the vritti, it is called Brahma vritti. If you go to the real terms, it is called Brahma vritti. That means whatever knowledge of Brahman we have formed, truth, whatever concept of truth we have formed, now you completely get dedicated, you go on contemplating on that concept which you have learned so far. Until the peak of it is Jnana Samadhi, when it becomes, you discover the truth and it becomes a realized knowledge for you. Now this process by itself, if you think about it, you will understand that generally nobody will be fit for it. Because when we practice, even Shravana, it gets broken by several years. Or by a COVID of 3 years we did not do any Shravana or so. It becomes like that. If you do manana, oh I can do it for 1 hour in the morning. So the whole day we are not doing. If you do nididhyasana, वो तो होगा ही नहीं. Mind इधर उधर भागेगा, it doesn't happen. So it needs a very, very dedicated pursuit, which is possible only for the very pure-minded people who are already having almost no desire at all. The free from desire means the mind will not go here and there. So naturally the question comes then, is this adhyatmic sadhana or spirituality meant for such few people only, and for the large population of the world it will remain useless? That is why Ishopanishad says that you have to take it together. Bhagavad Gita says that it can be available to anybody in the world, working in any field of activity, doing any karma, provided they are ready to change their mindset. Bhagavad Gita is not asking you to change your profession or your engagement, your duty, nothing. As Arjuna was given to fighting, he is asking you to fight the war. I will make this a sadhana for you. Even the war, and not like the present war, where you have to fight with the bow and arrow standing amongst millions of people, shooting the arrows by yourself and others' arrows are hitting you. We cannot even imagine the kind of involvement, the engagement in a war. He says that this war activity also can be made into a sadhana by the Buddhi Yoga of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is saying that. So the fundamental statement of Bhagavad Gita is the activities which one will generally consider to be hindrance to our spiritual growth or sadhana, mark very well. The activities which we consider to be hindrance to our spiritual growth and sadhana, all such activities can be converted, transformed into a sadhana, can be made into an instrument for taking us to the ultimate goal by applying the Buddhi Yoga of Bhagavad Gita, by changing the mindset with which we are doing the activity. We will put the same bricks for making the same wall, but with a different kind of a mindset. We will fight the same war with the same bow and arrow, with the same other weapon, but complete change with a complete changed mindset. So it is a great declaration of Bhagavad Gita that you consider activity to be a hindrance, but they are not really hindrance, they are an opportunity for purifying yourself. Because without activity, you will not have any opportunity to know why your mind is running around. What are the hindrances? Where you are constricted, where you are selfish, where you are self-centered, where you are jealous, where you are greedy. All these things will know when you are in the world, in the activity, in the active world. And each instance in day-to-day life, every moment can be utilized to do the same activity with a changed mindset. If I am doing for some selfish aim here, change it to do it with something of an universal aim. For that, various things have been suggested in Bhagavad Gita. I will go into the detail. But this is the fundamental statement of Bhagavad Gita. And for Arjuna, as a fundamental piece, in chapter 1, 45th verse, Arjuna's mindset is described. What is that? Ahovat mahat papam gattum vyavasita vayam yat rajya sukhalobhena hantum svajana mudyataha. He said that, O Krishna, we are out to commit a great sin, mahapapa. That for winning over the kingdom and enjoying the sukha of kingship, we are out to kill my own most beloved grandfather and other kith and kin and the most respected teacher Dronacharya. They are all standing on the opposite side. So I am going to fight them. How can I do that? Is it not sinful? This is the mindset of Arjuna before the war. And what Krishna tried throughout the Bhagavad Gita is to change that, expand his mindset that you are not fighting the war for any of your selfish interest. It is not guaranteed that you are going to win the war and become the king. And even if you become the king's life is never comfortable. So all are deluded. Your statements are all based on delusion. So much so that first chapter Shankaracharya has not written any bhashya. It is all based on Krishna lecture to Arjuna nahi hai. First chapter Arjuna is giving lecture to Krishna and all from a deluded mindset. What I have to interpret there? He has not done. So, he said that you are, the whole earth, that means the country, is now under corrupt rule. People, the kings have become corrupt. They have lost their old traditional goodness and whatever our country was known for, the Rajarshis. That he says again in 5th chapter and all. That it was the Rajarshis were ruling. For that you have to be a knower. And then only you can be impersonal and impartial in your judgment given to the people. So, Krishna said that we are here to establish a righteous rule on this earth, and for that the war is needed. And because your profession is war, you are given to, you are a Kshatriya, you are learned that you are the best archer also, it is your duty to see that the righteous rule is established on earth. In the process you may die also, but your contribution to this yajna will always be there, this war will always be there. Your mind has to be now completely reset, that you are not doing it for any personal winning the kingdom or personal comfort or anything, but you are doing a service for the universal welfare, for the auspiciousness. You can call it a universal yajna of the Lord. The whole earth is, whatever activities are there in the galaxies and everywhere, the tremendous activities are going on. Nowhere there is any desire. It is all a free activity. It is, Krishna defined it as a yajna of the universal Lord. See, in Bhagavad Gita, everything is given a twist and made into a great concept. Yajna concept was in Vedas, Karma Kanda. Who will do yajna? Each yajna has got a phala. That if you do this, say Dasharatha did Putra Kameshti, you will get sons. Nachiketa's father did Vishwajit Yaga. That if you do this, you will go to this heaven or that heaven. So unless you are desiring to go to the heaven, mostly it is all after death, nobody can verify. So unless you have a desire, why should do the yajna? You have a desire for going to the heaven, or you have a desire for having sons, then only you will do that kind of a yajna. You have a desire of becoming the emperor of the world, you are doing Ashwamedha Yaga. So all the Yaga yajnas were done with a desire. It is desireful work. That was the Karma Kanda. And in Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna is saying, that whatever you do, if you do with desirelessness in your mind, then it becomes yajna. Just the opposite. How? Because the whole universe is a yajna of the Lord. Yajna means when you are not doing anything for selfish interest. It's a spontaneous activity of the three gunas or whatever, the nature's activity. The flowers are blossoming, the plants are growing, the cloud is shedding, the sun is drying the sea and cloud is being formed. It's a huge cycle. The galaxies are getting born, galaxies are dying. So it's the whole nature is a huge activity. But it is nowhere it is for any personal desire or anything at all. It's just going on spontaneously. So are we not also a product of this nature? Our body-mind personality, is it not a product of the nature, product of nature? So why are we assigning a special significance to I and me and mine? As the whole nature is doing their own activity, our body-mind personality, which is a three-guna product, that will do whatever it is capable of doing. Each body-mind personality will do different things. Somebody will do business, somebody will do teaching, somebody will do boxing. It depends on his or her characteristics of the personality. Everybody is born with some natural qualities and characteristics. He or she is a product of the three gunas. And according to that, he will perform in the world. So when he does not perform anything with a personal desire, thinking, assigning it to a kartritva and bhoktritva, that is, I will enjoy happiness, or I want to become great, or anything of that sort, that is the egoistic, selfish, gain orientation, then your work also will, whatever you do will become yajna. So the concept, our Ramana Maharshi says in a couplet, Ishwararpitam nechaya kritam. When any work becomes a surrender, when it is done without any desire, ichchaya, na ichchaya kritam. Not with any personal gain or anything. You do because you are capable of doing and the society needs it. You feel the urge to do, you do. But never ever say that by doing it I will get this and then I will become happy. Then it becomes yajna. So, these are some fundamental revolutionary concepts in Bhagavad Gita, we should remember. This, how to work out this, what should be the pursuit? Bhagavad Gita has given different models. See, this is called Buddhi Yoga pursuit. Why it is called Buddhi Yoga? It is called Karma Yoga also, I said, but Karma Yoga is misunderstood. People do a lot of karma. He says that I am doing Karma Yoga. What is he doing? Throughout the day he is engaged in karma. By remaining engaged in karma, karma does not become yoga. Karma has to be done with yoga attitude. Then only it will become Karma Yoga. So, and Bhagavad Gita describes it as Buddhi Yoga. So it is better to follow the term Buddhi Yoga. What is Buddhi Yoga? That the Buddhi normally is slave to the world. See, the heading we have given is slavery to the world. We are generally slave to the world. कोई doubt है क्या इसमें? Even छोटा मोटा चीज, एक दिन कोई खाना पसंद नहीं है. Oh, got angry with the mother. I cannot take food today. So our self-seatedness, where कोई कुछ बता दिया, गाली दे दिया थोड़ा सा, बस उससे भी ज़्यादा हम गाली उसको दे दिया. Where is our self-seatedness? You know Buddha's case, that in his time he became very famous. So the Tantrikas, those who were given to all this Hatha Yoga and Tantrika Charcha, they got very annoyed with Buddha. One day the Tantrika head came and Buddha was sitting under a tree. He went on abusing him, left and right, all dirty and wrong things. He was abusing him, he abused to the extent he could. Then he got all the more angry. क्या? आप हमें मनुष्य नहीं कर सोचते हैं? इतना देर से आपको बता रहे हैं, आप कुछ भी नहीं बोलते हैं, हंसते भी नहीं है, रोते भी नहीं है, ये क्या बात है? Then Buddha opened his mouth. He says, dadatu gali mantah bhavantaha. He says that you are giving me abuses, giving me gali, because you have lot of gali in your stock. Whatever you have in your stock, you can give to others. A rich person has money, he can give money to others, to those who need. But I don't have any gali in my stock, so I cannot give you any gali. इस दुनिया में वही दे सकते जो उनके पास है. हमारे पास तो गालियां है नहीं, हम कैसे आपको दें? So what I want to say is, the story or true or not is not our concern. Our concern is the self-seatedness. When Buddha could remain self-seated, otherwise he would have got agitated and would have returned some gali to that person. How could he say the statement? That statement came from him. That means he remained self-seated in spite of all, whatever was the situation, because he was not slave to the surroundings, to the situation, to the world. We are slave in various ways, infinite ways we are slave to the world. So how does the slavery come? The physical body with the five senses, it is always undergoing attraction, repulsion towards the world objects, is it not? Whatever is liked by us, we want to cling to, we will move towards that. Whatever we dislike, even if it is very good, we want to run away. बच्चों का तो कोई बात ही नहीं है. थोड़ा बिटर कुछ देने से वो खाएगा नहीं. स्वीट देने से वो खराब हो जा रहा, दांत भी सब खराब हो जा रहा, फिर भी स्वीट आउट चाहिए. बच्चों का हम बोल रहे हैं, सबको ऐसे ही है. So, now normally what happens is that mind is following whatever the senses are liking, whatever we want. जब चोरी करना चाहते हैं तो मन से चाहते हैं, senses से नहीं. Senses चाहते हैं कुछ material, but with the connection of the mind he has to do. So the mind is following the same slavery. The moment something we are greedy about, we run after that with the help of the mind. The mind is also following the same track. Following the mind, the buddhi, which is always giving judgment to the mind, it is also corrupted by the same sense attraction and repulsion and all that, raga dvesha, so to say. So it tells the mind how to attain your goal. That means अगर चोर चोरी करना चाहता है तो वो बोल रहा है कि नहीं, बैंक को इस तरफ से नहीं होगा, वहाँ दारवान खड़े हैं, आप पीछे से जाओ. That is buddhi. So buddhi is also following the mind. Like that, the whole being actually is becoming slave to the world. The senses are slave to the world. Following the senses, the mind is slave to the world. Following the mind, the buddhi also is slave to the world. So this is the picture of our slavery to the world. Life controlled by raga dvesha. Raga dvesha means we run after whatever we like, we run away from whatever we dislike. Now what any scripture wants is, so the other one, master of the world. Life anchored in real identity. Now, yesterday and day before also we have told, 2 shlokas I have told you if you remember. One is that, Indriyani paranyahuhu indriyebhya param manaha manasastu parabuddhihi yo buddhehe paratastu saha. They are saying the senses are very powerful. It is understood, it is accepted. But senses, more than the senses, the powerful is the mind. Because without the mind's association, the senses cannot do anything. So if you can change the mind, then you can manage the senses with the mind, controlling the mind. But how will you change the mind? Because mind is already affected by the desires and raga dvesha. So how will you change the senses? To change the senses, you have to transform the mind. So he says, manasastu parabuddhihi. Greater than the mind, more powerful than the mind, superior to the mind is the buddhi. So you apply your buddhi to change the mind. That this is not already, that we are always doing. If you do this, well, you will get more money, but you have to do something wrong, so better not go there. You remain with whatever work you have. Don't have greed for too much of higher payment or this or that. Always the buddhi is guiding us, good as well as bad way. So, manasastu parabuddhihi. Then he says, yo buddhehe paratastu saha. There is something still greater than the buddhi. That is, buddhi is also getting corrupted by the kama, by the desire, raga, dvesha, etc. So, to extract the buddhi from this pollution, you have to apply something higher. So he is saying that yes, there is something higher than the buddhi, and that is never affected by anything, any raga, dvesha, any desire, anything at all. It can never change or anything. What is that? That is your real I, the real identity, which is transcending senses, mind, buddhi, everything. Yo buddhehe paratastu saha. Then he is saying, evam buddhehe param buddhva. Samstabhya atmanam atmana jahishatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. So to win over because desire is creating all the problem of worldliness. How to win over? That evam buddhehe param buddha. That you know, you have to discover something which is higher than the buddhi, which is transcendental. And you get established in that. Then you can, with that, your buddhi is purified, is properly guided. The buddhi will guide the mind, so the mind will get purified. The mind will guide the senses, by that the senses will get purified. Does it mean to you? It should be very clear. So, the basic thing is you have to know something superior to the buddhi and get the buddhi anchored there. Unless the buddhi is anchored there, the buddhi will not get the enlightenment from the identity or the soul or the consciousness. That is what we have shown, that when the life becomes anchored in the real identity. What is our real identity? That is our universal identity, not limited by the body, mind, personality. That is the real consciousness, the real Atma, Paramatma, Brahman, whatever you may say. that is not tainted by anything of the world. The whole world is only revealed by it or appearing on it. It never gets tarnished. It cannot change also. It is not in the objective field. To have any change, you have to see the changes. Only in object you can see the changes. What is not in the objective field at all, how can you, who will see the changes? That is the seer. There is nothing else which can see the changes in it. So Atma cannot change at all. So you get the intelligence anchored in the real identity. Now if you say that, oh, I have not realized the Atma, I don't know my soul, how can I anchor my Buddhi there? It is not true. Everybody has an inner voice. You think whenever you are doing wrong, you might be doing wrong because of some greed, some pralobhana, some greed, attraction, desire, etc. Is not something from inside is telling you what you are doing is wrong, what you are telling is wrong. Can you deny that? Generally we don't heed it. The voice is there. We are not heeding the voice because of our slavery to the world. That voice is defeated because we are more prone to work with the slavery to the world. We are getting attracted and repelled by the world. Suppose you find somebody whom you do not like at all. Now you say that the Bhagavad Gita says, and Swamiji had been saying that you have to love everybody. So I should love this person, but I don't want to see his face also. What can be done? But your Buddhi will say, no, somehow you should try. Everybody has some good qualities and bad qualities. Can you just go and hug and tell him that I love you and appreciate his qualities? You will find that he is also getting changed. We have experimented it. It is successful in most of the cases where people could do it. So, the inner voice everybody has. Not only that, there is nothing without the I. That I is always there, but only we are not knowing the dimension of the I. The Atmic dimension we are not aware of. So when we anchor the Buddhi there, that what is the anchorage? Whatever we are studying about the Atma is never tainted by anything, it never undergoes any change, it always remains unaffected, it is not an object that it will get affected or changed or anything. That Atma is impartial, impersonal in its way because it is the Atma of all. How can it be partial to Tarun and not partial to Vivek? It is your Atma as well as his Atma. Everybody is Atma. So all these Atmic dimensions, let us call, not qualities, Atmic dimension, that is we are learning about the Atma from the scriptures. What are the Atmic dimensions? We know. Now, the Buddhi should always bring in those dimensions and bring it to the mind. So whenever we are interacting, if the ego is making my mind small, selfish, etc., the Buddhi bringing in the Atmic dimension saying, no, this is not the way. You try to think impartially, impersonally. If he is right, you accept his view. Why are you insisting on your view? Because you are egoistic. You think you are the best thinker. All these corrections through work, it will come constantly if you have the Buddhi Yoga. What is the Buddhi Yoga? Keeping the Buddhi anchored in this real identity. That is what we call Viveka Buddhi. Aapka naam to wo hai. Viveka Buddhi. The other one is called Vishaya Buddhi. I did not say. In the previous one, the Buddhi is called Vishaya Buddhi. Vishaya Buddhi means the worldliness, world. That Buddhi is always looking into the world, thinking where I can get a little more, where I can lose a little less, whom I can get without any doing anything. वो गुरु के पास जाने से कुछ साधना भी नहीं करना है, आपको एकदम मुक्ति मिल जाएगा सीधा से, तो उसी के पास जाओ. Because we don't want to do the sadhana. If we go to Guru A and do not get what I want, we go to Guru B thinking that इनके पास जाने से साधना करने की जरूरत नहीं है. जब तक तुम साधना नहीं करोगे कुछ भी नहीं होने वाला है. But because of our laziness we go on doing like that. So when the Buddhi remains anchored in that, then that is why it is called Buddhi Yoga. That the Buddhi is established in our real identity. And with that Buddhi we control the mind, with that mind we control the senses, the whole life. एक बार थोड़ा सा वो chariot दिखा दो, just one little, because I am diverting. I started from something else, and let it be. It's the same thing. So this is the Upanishadic knowledge leads to integrated personal. Actually, Bhagavad Gita or Upanishadic. Bhagavad Gita, every chapter and you find, it says that Bhagavad Gita su Upanishad su. It is only speaking about the Upanishadic knowledge in a different manner, presented under a different setting. So here see the horses, the 5 horses, always it will be even. Here it is 5 because we have 5 senses. So the horses are the senses. First of all, the horses have to be trained. That means they have to be disciplined. Otherwise, what will they do? You are going to CIRD or going on the road, they see बहुत अच्छा गन्ने का खेती है, वो सीधा उतर के वहाँ जाके खाना शुरू कर देंगे, या चना है वो जाके खाना शुरू करेगा. That is why we put 2 covering for the horses. इधर उधर देखना नहीं है. Like that, we also have to initially bridle the senses. Without that, we won't be able to read the Shastras or think also rightly. So it is a must in the beginning. And Bhagavad Gita also says that Tasmat tvam indriyanyadau niyamya bharatarshava. First thing, adau. First, you have to have certain discipline of the senses. Without that, you cannot even study in class 1. Is it not? Forget about PhD. Even in class 1 also you will not be able to learn the alphabets unless your senses are restricted, bridle. After that, what is it? That the lagam or the reins, that the Kathopanishad considers that as the mind. That is perfectly alright, but only recently I have improvised on the model, saying that the reins are not having the consciousness in it. Calling it mind, a little, it's jada, it has nothing. So better we have put a small child on the lap of the charioteer. Sarathi ke god pe ek baitha diya hai. And it is a real life experience also. We were once coming back from Dakshin Khanda in a bullock cart, not chariot of course. और वो जो मेन सारथी है, उसका ग्रैंडसन भी बोल रहा था, जैसे आपके बच्चे भी बोलते हैं हम गाड़ी चलाएंगे, गाड़ी 12 साल के हैं लेकिन गाड़ी चलाएंगे, बिगैर लाइसेंस की चले जाते हैं. वो बच्चा बोला कि हम चलाएंगे, आज स्वामी जी को हम ले जाएंगे. इतना छोटा बच्चा, और वो ग्रैंडफादर भी वैसे ही है, उनको बैठा दिया. He doesn't know, and that grandfather also is strange. That day he put the bullocks, absolutely rustic bullock, not trained, untrained bullocks. Moreover, that was the election time. So as the bullock cart is moving over the village path, narrow, the jeeps are coming from other side, the political parties and all. And every time it sees the jeep, it goes down to the kheti, the paddy field. It was life and death samshaya. The first thing it did is that it started from the house, village, and towards the end of the village we found that it is taking a turn and going somewhere, ran inside that. We understood that it is a stable, that cowshed. It went into their own home, it would not go. Then they did like this, then the grandfather opened an umbrella. So they started running again. And the boy was sitting on top. The boy also learned that I have to show the umbrella. Like that, so many times it ran into the field, and that is why we were telling repeatedly, हमें छोड़ दो बाबा, हम पैदल चले जाएंगे, इतना दूर कुछ नहीं है, छोड़ दो सुनेंगे. वो ईगो, प्रेस्टीज है. हम बच्चा हो सकते लेकिन हम चला सकते हैं. तो finally what happened is that near almost half a kilometer or so away from the station there was a big pond, and there a jeep came and the bullock cart came down to the paddy to the pond. वो pond के अंदर आधा जाके क्रिंक रुक गया. एंड विलेज से वहाँ से बहुत लोग आ गए, वे तुम मारना चाहते हैं ये लोग को, छोड़ो, तुम उनका लगेज लेके जाओ और वो पैदल जाने दो. So we were saved like that. So what I understood is that actually the mind is also part of the conscious element in it. That is, intelligence is definitely, the consciousness has two direct functions. One is the thought process of the mind, another is the analysis of the intelligence. In Shastras we say, Sankalpa Vikalpatmakaha Manaha and Nishchayatmika Buddhi. That it is the two faculties of the same consciousness, functions of the same consciousness, which does only ये करना है, वो करना है, ये करेंगे, वो करेंगे, ये नहीं किया, वो नहीं किया. ये ऐसे जो सोचता है उसको बोलता है माइंड. तो तुम्हारा कोई गलत नहीं है, माइंड ऐसा ही सोचता है, उसमें दुख करने का कुछ नहीं है. माइंड्स नेचर इज लाइक दैट, यू शुड नो, until it is guided by the intelligence. But the intelligence will give a decision that ये करना है, ये नहीं करना है. निश्चयात्मिका बुद्धि. So just considering the lagam as the mind, I thought that with the lagam let there be another child who does not apply the intelligence but works according to the pulls and pushes of the senses. That is the mind. Now, intelligence is the charioteer and the Atma, our real identity, is the main Rathi. Rathi means the owner of the chariot. Now, when you go into the car, suppose you have a driver, chauffeur. When you sit in the car, does the driver just go on his will, wherever he wants to go? Does he not ask you that, Saab, kahan jana hai? Sir, where should we go? Like that, we are not asking the Atma, where should I go? Our charioteer is our Buddhi, intelligence. The intelligence is asking the ghoda kahan jana hai. You see the foolishness of us. I am trying to picture it in a figurative manner. Instead of asking the owner, the intelligence is asking the ghodas where to go, and it moves according to that. So we are only saying that you ask the owner, the जो बैठे हुए हैं सवारी, उनको पूछो कहाँ जाना है, उसके अनुसार जाओ. That is the same as the buddhi getting anchored in the real identity. That means whatever the dimensions of the real identity, the atmic dimensions, the chariot should follow that. Then we will, working also, activities also will take us to the same Atma as we try to get into the meditation. The Atma we realize in meditation will be the same Atma in the world also, in a different form. But we will know the world out of the Atmic dimensions. We will see the world, interacting in the world, but in my mind, in my intelligence, always the Atmic dimensions will remain shining. Do you understand the whole thing? Then we will move towards liberation. The charioteer will look at the Atma and get his direction. He will pass on the message to the mind, and the mind will pull the horses accordingly. Now the chariot, to move properly, we need great discipline. The horses have to be disciplined. The lagam, the reins have to be strong. Suppose the horses pull another direction and you have to pull with the reins. If the reins are weak, it will yield. The horses will go free. Similarly, the intelligence will have to be very sharp to know how to guide and how to take the mind here and there. The intelligence has to guide the mind. So it must know how to guide the mind. And also the intelligence has to look into the Atma. Now, to have a proper functioning faculties, you need, for the senses, you need sensory discipline and also food which will make your senses working properly. It is very important. Food means not just the food we are taking in. Whatever input we are giving are food. Whatever we are seeing, whatever films or in the internet we are seeing, we are enjoying, whatever friends we are interacting with, whatever we are reading, whatever we are thinking, everything is food for us. So, the proper material food or the input food has to be given to the senses. If you listen to agitating music, your mind will become agitated. If you listen to calming music, your mind will become calm. These are all simple, rational truths. We should understand, we should think about it and find out. Similarly, the mind has to be given proper food so that the mind is strong. Otherwise, the mind will not be able to take whatever the intelligence is saying, the mind will not be able to, it is weak. So it will follow the senses. So how to make the mind strong? By some mental discipline, like generally we undergo some mental discipline through normal now secular studies, but the still stronger medicine would have been, proper food would have been, say people take to Vishnu Sahasranama and all, where the prana as well as the mind, everything is kept under control. Because to pronounce the words properly with all its alphabets, you need great attention. Not only that, you have to sit straight with the spine erect. You have to listen to the pronunciation coming out through the tongue. If the tongue is not able to pronounce properly, you have to give the direction from the brain. The tongue has to be twisted like this or like this or like that. And again listen to the sound. And if you go further, good chanting means you have to know the meaning, and not only the meaning, subtler than the meaning is the bhava of it. Suppose when you are saying Mahakatta, what does it mean? It's a great Lord who is doing everything. So if you say Mahakatta, Mahajnani, you can say like that also. Mahakatta, will you say as Mahakatta or Mahakatta? How will you pronounce? We are doing such wrong pronunciations. Whatever is the bhava, according to that we have to pronounce. जब हम पवित्र बोलेंगे तो मन में पवित्रता आना चाहिए. जब हम यूनिवर्सल बोलेंगे तो मन में एक स्काई लाइक डायमेंशन आना चाहिए, स्पेशल डायमेंशन आना चाहिए. So chanting is a great thing there which will bridle our intelligence, mind and invigorate them also, because if it is done with the proper pronunciation, the whole body will undergo pranayama. Pranasya ayama means disciplining the life forces. The whole life forces will be disciplined. If anybody given to from our website, you can get, we have explained how to chant. Even the sa, sha, sha, etc., how to pronounce them properly, everything is there in the website, in the Vishnu Sahasranama section. Because I had to teach one lady from Australia. Their pronunciations will be difficult to make it. So many ways we have explained that do like this, do like that. Sometimes Swamiji will put the pencil inside the mouth. That like this, under the tongue, over the tongue, and so that one understands how the pronunciation is coming out. All these are there in the website. So, that discipline will discipline the mind particularly, and for the intelligence, the sarathi, we have further disciplines. That is what we do in scriptural study. What is that? Analysis, vichara. Vichara, what is the truth, what is permanent, what is impermanent? Is not the intelligence always doing this vichara, this introspection we say, constantly analyzing. So the intelligence can do other vichara also, as I said that how the bank can be broken. That will not cause this nourishment. Whereas when you are reading the scriptures or thinking about the permanent, the ultimate truth or the Atma, the intelligence is getting purified and becoming subtler and sharper. It is not getting lost in the worldly attraction, repulsion. It is dealing with something abstract, subtle. So even in studying some very abstract science also, the intelligence gets that subtlety. But here, along with that, in the reading the Shastras, it is not only dealing with the objective subtlety, but the subject also, the wholesome subtlety. So there is a difference. A great scientist may not easily be able to conceptualize the Atma unless he is trained for that, because their vision is objective. Whereas a spiritual person who takes to this rational analysis will have the wholesome view of the whole thing. So that is how the intelligence becomes subtler, sharper, purer, etc. So if these, and for the Atma no exercise is necessary. You cannot do anything to the Atma. You cannot, Atma is already free, already fulfilled, It is saying all these things are also wrong. You cannot change the Atma at all. So all the changes have to be brought into the personality, then the chariot will reach its ultimate goal. Ultimate goal also, the chariot doesn't have to move and reach some goal outside. The whole chariot will get converted into consciousness. That is its goal. It doesn't have to move anywhere at all. Do you understand? नेक्स्ट स्लाइड में दिखा वो जो क्या क्या डिसिप्लिन लिखा है ना. डिसिप्लिन सेंसेस फॉलोइंग द माइंड, माइंड गाइडेड बाय द इंटेलिजेंस, इंटेलिजेंस गाइडेड बाय द इनर वॉइस और द रियल आइडेंटिटी लीड अस टू इंटीग्रेटेड पर्सनैलिटी. सो होल भगवद गीता, दीज आर द फंडामेंटल पॉइंट्स दैट interactions should not be avoided. We should not run away from interactions, but we should try to convert the interactions into sadhana. How? By changing our understanding of the world, understanding of ourselves, by changing the mindset. Mindset means our bhava. The selfish, constricted mindset has to be changed into universal, free mindset. That is, the atmic dimensions have to be brought to the mindset. As much as we pursue it, so much we will come closer and closer to the Atma. It is not just a realization at one time, one point, and then again it is gone. It is a continuous process of becoming soul. Who will become soul? The mind will become soul. The soul is already soul. Nothing, it doesn't have to become anything. The changes are all in the mind, intelligence, in the personality. So by purification and understanding the subtle truth of our real identity, the mind will take the dimension of the soul. More and more we do it, it will come closer and closer to the soul dimension, closer and closer to the soul. For doing it, Bhagavad Gita suggests that this is what is called Buddhi Yoga. That is, the primary thing is to anchor the Buddhi in the truth of the Atma, in the dimensions of the Atma, Atmic dimensions, and then distribute it to the entire personality and lead us with that. But how to do it, that Bhagavad Gita has presented many ways. This is what we have categorized here. You can find out more also. I have just given 6. See, the first one is Samatva. In 2.48, this Samatva is defined. Samatva means equanimity or evenness or equality of vision. Whatever you may say, it is better to understand the word, Sanskrit word Samatva. Because whatever you use English translation, it will mislead you. Equanimity is true, evenness of vision is true, and it is not true also. What is the meaning of Samatva? We have to understand. In 2.48, it is saying that Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. See, samatvam yoga uchyate. That means yoga is defined as samatva. Uchyate means yoga is defined as samatva. Now, if you consider the samatva as the usual way, in the management lectures it is defined, that it is success and failure is you take with the equanimity. If it is sukha and dukkha, you take with the equanimity. Bhagavad Gita, these definitions are taken from Bhagavad Gita. But Bhagavad Gita is not stopping there. It is taking it to the ultimate level in 2.62 or so, where atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yo arjuna sukham va yadiva dukkham sa shayogi paramo mataha. That is, it has to go to the real samatva, which is the truth of the existence also. What is that? The whole variegated world is nothing but the Atma alone. That is the real samatva. So the business samatva of taking success and failure equally or taking sukha dukkha equally, all these will come from that samatva automatically. Otherwise you go on trying that and one day you will reach that. That is also okay. But the dimension of the samatva is not just that you remain equal in this and all. You have to find your own Atma everywhere and everybody in your own Atma. Then only the equal vision will have its proper dimension. The second one is asangatva. I said that sangha is when we cling to what we like and when we are intolerant or hate what we dislike. That is called sangha. So the whole Bhagavad Gita is on asangatva. What is the ultimate parakashta of asanga? Can you tell me? Parakashta means the pinnacle of asangatva. What is that? Soul. It reveals the whole world, it shows the whole world, never affected by anything. Suppose a cinema screen. You are showing so many life stories, the war and whatnot, the bombing is going on, the light is gone, the screen is screen, nothing has happened. Asanga, that is asanga. Even the space is a closer expression of asangatva. Even the air gets polluted, but nothing happens to the space. Even if a bomb blast is there, nothing happens to the space. Actually, the real asanga is the Atma. So, as we develop unaffectedness, we were talking about unaffectedness, untaintedness, that whatever happens in life, Sukha, it is a wave on the consciousness. Dukkha is also a wave on the consciousness. And you accept the oneness in both, you will find there is joy in both. Even in dukkha there is a joy. Sukha also there is a joy. You no longer get elated in sukha, no longer get depressed in dukkha. But both come to you with the touch of divinity, because both are nothing different from the consciousness. So, then comes the Jajna Bhavana or Jajna Bhava. That I have already explained today, that Bhagavad Gita made the whole Jajna concept reverse. That Jajna means we are offering to the universal Jajna of the Lord. That is, we are doing something without any desire as an offering. By that what will happen? We will not have any Sangha. Whatever we are doing, we are conceiving of that, it is being offered to the Lord or to the universal or to the nature. So anything we can do without any gain orientation or desire orientation will become Jajna. And that is what Bhagavad Gita is saying, that you should do everything with the Jajna Bhava. Yajñathat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhanaha. These are very important single lines. Yajñathat karmanaha anyatra loko ayam lokaha karma bandhanaha. That if you do anything with the bhava of yajna, then nothing will bind you. There won't be any sangha. But if you do in any other way, with any selfish orientation, gain orientation or happiness orientation, it will bind you. Lokoyam karma bandhana. So this Jajna Bhavana is another. And corresponding shlokas also I have given, where you get it. Outliving raga dvesha. This we have been speaking always, that the soul does not have any raga dvesha to anything. It reveals. Like to some extent like sunlight. It is not so much, but sunlight also, it shows you the garbage, it shows you the beautiful flower also. By showing the garbage, it doesn't get purified. By showing the flower, it doesn't get beautified also. Sunlight is just revealing. Like that, the soul is revealing everything in the world, the criminal, the saint, everything is revealed by the soul. It reveals the sukha, it reveals the dukkha also. By revealing dukkha, it doesn't become dukkhi. By revealing sukha, it doesn't become sukhi. So all these terms, they are meaning exactly the soul only. And we are trying to make our mind and intelligence with the soul dimension. We have to create that soul dimension in ourselves. So whichever way you go forward, you are approaching the same goal of becoming the soul, being and becoming. Whatever you have known as the identity, the Atma, that Atma is not different from us. So we have to become the Atma. And that becoming takes place all through all this practical orientation. Outliving Ragadvesha, Ragadvesha Vijuktaistu Vishayan Indriyeshcharan Atma Vashair Vidheyatma Prasadam Adhigacchati. He says, a person who overcomes the Ragadvesha, that means clinging to what he likes and hating what he dislikes. Such a person, the world remains the same, nothing changes in the world. But for him, Ragadvesha Vijuktahi, Vishayan Indriyeshcharan, he is moving around in the same field of objects, with the same Indriyas as getting attracted, repelled. Everything is happening in the same manner. He is moving around in the same world. The difference is his mind is free of Ragadvesha. So he says in that case what happens? Atma Vashair Vidheyatma Prasadam Adhigacchati. But he is no more Vishaya Vash. That means he is not slave to the objects and the objective world. What Vash he is? Atma Vash. Atma Vashair. That means he is always anchored to the soul. And he is always applying the dimension of the soul. So he is no longer slave to the Vishayas. Vidheya Atma, in his discipline, he doesn't have to follow any of the codes we apply, discipline and external discipline or moral codes also. His discipline comes from within because he is in harmony with the ultimate truth. His mind is in tune with the infinite. So what he will do, what he will not do, everything is coming from his within because he is tuned to that universal truth. He is anchored in that Atma. Prasadam Adhigacchati. He attains the prasada. Prasada means, what do we translate as? Placidity. It is not usual happiness or anything. It is supreme happiness which will not look like happiness, which is prasada. See, happiness lies in some sukha situation, and in dukkha situation you don't have happiness, but prasada will be there in sukha as well as dukkha. Prasada is a constant affair, you will never miss. So in dukkha also your face will not become long, and sukha your hairs will not stand on your head. Both. Transcending gunas, this I will not speak now, that is the whole world is, the other day also I have explained, that it's a play of the gunas. Our body-mind personality is also a play of the gunas. The gunas are interacting with the gunas. I am nowhere connected to that. I am an observer of the whole world phenomena, the phenomenological display of the world. So, I am gunatita. That is called the gunatita. The soul is gunatita, and we, as much gunatita we become, so much we will come to the close to the soul. And finally is the sharanagati, the surrender. That means, I think that I have a will, I have ego and all that, but actually I am a servant of the Lord. Whatever is being done by me, by the gunas, I accept. I no longer want to become sattvika. Before that itself you have become the supreme sattvika. But now, even if sometimes the rajasa tendencies come, the tamasa, you will also sleep, you will also work, everything will come and go, but we will not get worried about it at all anymore. Because it is a guna function that is going on. I am nowhere connected to that. So when it becomes a real knowledge, then the surrender gets fulfilled. That means you understand that we are already surrendered, there is nothing to surrender. As long as sadhana is there, surrender is necessary. As long as our kartritva, bhoktritva is there, we are having I am doing this, I have done something great, I have to do this, I have to do that. And I want to enjoy this, I want to enjoy that. As long as these tendencies are there, the surrender is a sadhana. You have to offer all those tendencies to the Lord. But when you understand that I don't have anything called that ego, it has got dissolved in the universal harmony. Where is the question of further surrender? So we discover that we are already surrendered. There is nothing to surrender at all. If moksha is there something, yes, it is there. If it is not there, it is not there. Oh, you are a jnani? Maybe. You are an ajnani? Maybe. I am happy with whatever I am. I am fulfilled with whatever I am. Why should we worry about anything? It is the fulfillment, ultimate fulfillment. So these are the ways Bhagavad Gita takes us to the same ultimate goal. And there, although it is advocating the karma, but it is not the usual karma. It is karma taken as a sadhana for attaining the same goal with the Buddhi Yoga. It is a full-scale Jnana Yoga in that sense. Although we are active, but without the application of the understanding, the knowledge, you cannot pursue it. So it is not the karma yoga we usually mean that हम कर्म करते हैं, हम कर्म योगी हैं. नहीं. It's a jnana yoga applied to the activities. चित्तस्य शुद्धये कर्म न तो वस्तुपलब्धये वस्तु सिद्धिर विचारेण न किंचित कर्म कोटिभिः. I think I am correct. Chittasya shuddhaye karma. Whatever activities we are doing, it is to get rid of the ego, desires and ragadvesha, so that the mind becomes purer. Means the fragmentation, the partial vision, all will go. Chittasya siddhaye karma. Natu vastu upalabdhaye. Vastu means the truth. By doing karma, the truth will not be realized. Na tu vastu upalabdhaye, not will be realized. Vastu siddhir vicharena, the truth, to realize the truth, you have to do the vichara. Without vichara, the ignorance from the intelligence will not go. By doing karma, it will not go unless you apply the viveka buddhi, unless you anchor your buddhi in the soul, in the identity. Vastu siddhir vicharena na kinchit koti karma bhi. You can do crores and crores of activities. Without vichara, you are never going to get the truth.
Prabuddham vimuktam vikaradhihinam prasannam sada nityabodhaswarupam param nischalam nirgunam sarvarupam bhajeham sadanusmarami pranaumi. Prabuddham vimuktam vikaradihinam prasannam sada nityabodhaswarupam param nischalam nirgunam sarvarupam bhajeham sadanusmarami pranaumi.